Hey guys, welcome back for a brand new round of box office predictions. But of course, before I even jump into last weekend's recap, I've got some fantasy movie league shoutouts to give, and this time it's a lot more manageable because only a select few managed to get that perfect lineup. It is 4 players, and those players are Furiosa, Spawn Out, Double J3, and Bananagrams. Congratulations. I am always super impressed when someone nails that lineup perfectly like that. I most certainly didn't, but I'm having a lot of fun playing, and I hope all of you are out there too. Going into my top 5 now from last weekend, I wound up going 4 for 5, and yet again, I'm kind of happy that I was wrong on one of them because it meant that Black Panther was getting back into the top 5, and you guys know how much I love that movie, so I'm super happy for it. But before I get to Black Panther, we gotta hit number 1, and of course, that was Avengers Infinity War, which is now officially the highest opening weekend at the domestic box office with $257.7 million. At number 2, it was A Quiet Place with $11 million. Then it was I Feel Pretty at number 3 with $8.2 million. At number 4, we had Rampage with $7.2 million. And then finally, at number 5, it was Black Panther with $4.7 million. Now it is on to this weekend, and we've got 3 new wide releases hitting theaters, although I only think 2 of them are going to manage to crack that top 5, and the one that I'm knocking out of the competition is Bad Samaritan. So with that one, I'm looking at another Electric Entertainment release. Its last release was the movie LBJ, and yeah, I know they're 2 completely different movies, but when that one opened, it only took $1.1 million, and really, I can't imagine Bad Samaritan taking much more than that for a number of reasons that include I haven't really seen much marketing for it. I certainly haven't heard many people that I know talking about it. And then I think the Fandango pre-sales are a little on the low side. So if I take LBJ's $1,685 per theater average for its opening weekend and apply that number to the amount of theaters that Bad Samaritan is getting, it still only brings it up to about $3 million. And I don't even know if it's hitting that. But hypothetically, let's say it does make $3 million. I don't think that's going to be good enough for number 5 this weekend because I think Tully's going to make more than that. Rampage took a really big hit last weekend, and I think it's in for yet another one this time around, so I don't think it's going to have a chance at snagging that number 5 spot. What could take it from Tully, though, is Black Panther. That's the one that I'm watching out for. I don't think it's going to have another 4% dip this weekend, but even if that number comes up to 25%, it would still mean Black Panther is taking another $3.5 million. But I gotta make a prediction here, and I do think that Tully is gonna wind up topping it. So looking at yet another Jason Reitman, Diablo Cody, and Charlize Theron collaboration, Young Adult, when that movie came out and it hit its widest release, it had a $3,451 per theater average. If I take that number and I apply it to Tully's theater count, which is 1,300 theaters, it's making $4.5 million, and I do think that that number is going to be good enough for number 5 this time around. Moving on to my number 4 for the weekend, that's where I have I Feel Pretty. Even with Overboard hitting theaters this weekend, I do think that there is a need for alternatives to Avengers Infinity War, so I don't think Overboard entering the race is going to hurt I Feel Pretty all that much. And yeah, I do know that I Feel Pretty took a bigger hit than I had expected last weekend, but looking at that 49% dip, I think that number is coming down to, let's say, 40 this time around. And if that's what happens, I Feel Pretty is going to take number 4 with another $5 million. Now it's time for my number 3, and that is where I have A Quiet Place. Again, I do think A Quiet Place is gonna benefit from 1, some moviegoers needing alternatives to Avengers Infinity War, and 2, the fact that there really isn't that much big competition otherwise out there right now. So looking at where A Quiet Place is right now, I really think it's got a good chance of holding on to 65% of last weekend's profits. And if that winds up being the case for A Quiet Place, it's taken another $7.2 million to the bank. Now it's time for my number 2, and that's where I have this weekend's new big release. It is Overboard. Admittedly, with this one, I really did think it was going to be just a total blip on the radar, especially because the first movie I looked at for a comparison was another Anna Faris release, What's Your Number? And when that movie first opened up, it only posted $1,806 per theater. That's not that good, but tracking reports are claiming that the movie is looking like it's in pretty good shape. I still don't think it's going to make a large sum of money, but I think it might be able to top the movie Snatched. Let's say Overboard winds up with a $6,000 per theater average. That's roughly $500 more than what Snatch started with. If I apply that $6,000 to Overboard's theater count, that gives it about $10 million, and this weekend, that is good enough for number 2. Now, yet again, you've been waiting for this one, right? I know I have. We're back to Avengers Infinity War at number 1. It's not so easy making a box office prediction for a record breaker because there's not a lot to compare it to. So in this case, I have to look at the number 2 highest opening weekend of all time at the domestic box office, which of course is Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Weekend 2, that movie only dropped 40%, which is so minimal given how much it kicked off its run with. But the thing is, that movie was a December release, and weekend 2 for it was during a holiday weekend, which is something that Infinity War doesn't have. But what could even them out, just a little bit at least, is the competition. So Force Awakens in weekend 2 was up against Daddy's Home, Joy, Concussion, and then also Point Break, whereas Infinity War is only facing Bad Samaritan, Tully, and Overboard, and none of those movies are getting many more theaters than 2,000. I think maybe one of them is going a little wider than that, but just about 2,000 theaters, if not less, for all 3. And on top of that, none of them are big money makers, so I am inclined to give Avengers Infinity War a pretty low percent change. Not as low as 40%, but I think I'm going to go here with an even 50. I'm going to cut last weekend's profits in half. And even if that happens, this movie is still making a stellar $128 million for its second weekend out. It's recap time now. I've got Avengers Infinity War taking the top spot with $128 million. Overboard coming in at number 2 with $10 million. Then A Quiet Place taking number 3 with $7.2 million. I Feel Pretty coming in at number 4 with $5 million, and then finally Tully taking the number 5 spot with $4.5 million. So those are my predictions, but as always, I need yours too. Hit that comment section below, share your top 5 for this weekend at the box office right there, and then make sure to go over to fantasymovieleague.com where you can sign up for the Predictions with Perri League. I'll include a URL and also the password to join the league in the description section of this video. Get on that. It's never too late to sign up, and it's a lot of fun week to week. I love that game, and I've really been enjoying talking to all of you about it, so go sign up there. And before I close out this video, I have a trio of Patreon shoutouts to give, and it's a special batch because these are brand new people to the PNemi Patreon campaign. So a big thank you and also a welcome goes out to Yaniv, Carl, and Kenneth. Guys, welcome. I am so happy you're here and thankful that you're here too. We got a lot of exclusive content coming your way on the Patreon page, and obviously a whole bunch more content coming to the YouTube channel as well. I can't wait to share it all with you. Thanks so much for watching this video. Like and share it as always, and I will see you next weekend to see how we all did with our box office predictions.